What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Menstix. Back at it with another video, and today we are doing my February 2025 monthly checks. And for those who are new to the channel or do not know what my monthly checks are in general, it is where we rank every single new release film and film that I've never seen before, that many people have seen before, and I will be ranking them from the worst to the best. Along with that, after that, we will go into my overhaul, which is the new stuff I got this month. And then after that, I will show you the new pictures I have on the ceiling, which I only have one. But yes, I do have one this month. But before we get into the actual beginning of the video, what's up, guys? Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel, because number one, it's absolutely free. Number two, also maybe help with YouTube algorithm recommended video, and more people, maybe they could join. And you feel free to comment your monthly checks down below. With that being said, guys, this is going to and before we go into I will tell you how many movies we have on here. So we have a total of 17 movies that I saw last month, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of them were new release films that I saw for the first time. New release films that came out last month, and all the rest of the films are films that other people have seen that I've never seen. Anyways, let's get into this actual list, shall we? Alright, so coming in at last place, and this is my pick for the worst new release film of the year thus far, that being Kinda Pregnant. So this is the straight to Netflix Amy Schumer movie, and this was my introduction to her. I already knew she had like a whole lot of hate and not a whole lot of people like her. And, yeah, this was my introduction to her, and not a very good first impression, to be honest with you. I thought this movie was absolutely crap. This was the first film this year that I gave an F. Flight Risk came close, but I gave it a D, just because I thought the concept was overall interesting, and Mark Wahlberg's performance is fun. Otherwise, with this, I couldn't even come up with a single positive thing to say. Like, the production value, very, like, Hallmarky TV budgets that looked pretty rough. The comedy in here, I didn't find funny at all. There's actually a joke in here that kind of made me kind of angry. Where, I don't recommend you see this movie. But if you're... if you're an Amy Schumer fan, maybe you'll like it, but there's a joke in this movie, so cover your ears if you don't want spoilers or whatever, but there's a joke in this movie where, so the main premise of this movie is she's pretending to be pregnant to get more attention from people. And then she goes on this train with this girl there, and the girl's saying, "Oh, wow, you look so beautiful, you're glowing." And then she goes to her mom's sitting right next to her, right? And she goes, "I want to be pregnant." And then the mom says, "No, you're 15. So fast forward to later on in the movie, and Amy Schumer's character ends up going back on the train, and the little girl's there with full-on belly. And, yeah, I did not find that joke funny at all, and I do not understand how it is funny. And along with that, the passage of time for this movie is, like, incoherent. I don't know the difference between time in here. It's just like, okay, so this happened over a bunch of months. Okay. So, yeah, that was annoying. That was very weird that happened. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, as I said before, did not have a single positive thing to say about this movie. Yeah, that's terrible. Coming in at number 16, probably one of the more biggest disappointments of the year so far for me, and that is Love Hurts. So I was actually really excited for this film. The trailer made it seem like it was going to be really, really fun. And unfortunately, it wasn't. I still think the action sequences were decent and Hee Kwan did good. Everything else in this movie was generic formulation. formulaic action movie, which is sad to say because it looked like it was going to be really fun and it ended up not being that. So, Love Hurts coming in at number 16. I still think overall it is a better movie than Kind of Pregnant. I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's just a mediocre meh movie. Alright, coming in at number 15, I have Les Deux Villas. So this is a movie probably none of you have heard of, but it's a new straight-to-Netflix movie, romance kind of, that has the main guy that plays Roman from Scream 3 in here, and it was fine. It's a watchable romance movie you'll probably forget about the next day. It's just a straight-to-Hallmark movie, but for Netflix. So, yeah, it was alright. It was watchable, but forgettable. Anyways. Coming in at number 14, I have Captain America Brave New World. And to its credit, I think it was better than I was expecting it to be because before this movie came out, this was originally supposed to come out like early last year, and that didn't end up happening because the test screenings were terrible, so they reshot the movie and redid the movie, so... And I think for this film, it definitely shows, but I think it was better than I was expecting it to be because all the rumored reshoots and stuff. The action sequences, I think at the start were a little rough, but later on in the movie, I think they certainly were better, especially the main Captain America versus Red Hulk fight. I thought that fight was really cool. I loved the Red Hulk stuff. I wish there was a little bit more of that, but I liked what we got there. The character relationships that Sam has with everyone, I think, is pretty solid as well. And he's still having that little hesitancy about being the new Captain America. So that adds to his character a little bit more as well. However, the biggest issues with the movie for me is the leader is in here, and it took us like 13, 12 years. I forgot how long it took, but it took us a long time to finally see the leader on screen, and I don't think they used him well at all. Like, at first, I thought they used him pretty decently, but then later on in the movie, it's just, they kind of make him... He's supposed to be the smartest being in the universe, and they make it feel like he is not that. Also, the design of the leader, I was not a fan of. I thought it was very, very goofy and not comic accurate whatsoever. And originally for this film, it was supposed to be more comic accurate. Also, another thing too. I think that this is basically just a weaker version of Captain America the Winter Soldier. For those who do not know, Captain America the Winter Soldier, one of my favorite comic book movies of all time, and this basically has the exact same premise, but it's lesser version of that. Alright, coming in at number 13, I have a short film that came out last month, by formerly Red Comics, Liam Pritchard. So shout out to his YouTube channel, go subscribe to him. And I thought this was a solid little murder mystery. By the way, from here on up, I would say I like these movies, or even more. So I liked this one. It's just, I wish it was a little bit longer. The movie's like 12 minutes and something. And I kind of wished it was a little tad bit longer, so when the eventual killer reveal happens, it maybe added a little bit more explanation for why the person ended up doing it. And so, but other than that, pretty acted well. I think it is directed well for a lower budget short film. So. And, yeah, overall, decent. I would recommend. It's just, I wish it was a little bit longer. But otherwise, pretty solid. Coming in at number 11, I'm Becoming Led Zeppelin. I am not a documentary guy. I want to make that transparent. The only documentary movie I've loved that I've seen so far is the Christopher Reeve one. I thought that one was pretty good. And as for this one, I liked this one too, but it has a bunch of the documentary problems that I have with documentaries, where I think a bunch of the parts are interesting, and I was not familiar with Led Zeppelin before. I've heard a few songs, but I've never been invested in their story or anything. I thought a bunch of that was interesting. However, there are a ton of moments where the movie does slow down significantly, but I liked the music, and yeah, it was a decent little documentary as well. All right. Coming in at number 10, I have Last Breath. So this is a new survival thriller movie. Wait, no, sorry, not 10th place. 11th place, I have Last Breath. This is the new survival thriller movie based on a true story where you have a bunch of divers. One of them ends up getting entangled in their line. So they have to cut the line so the rest of the divers can go up to eventually save him. Yeah, overall, some really good suspenseful underwater sequences, even though you pretty much know where the movie's going to end. Some good performances by the two main leads that hooked this movie, Woody Harrelson and Simu Liu. However, it is very reminiscent of other things like Deepwater Horizon and The Finest Hours, more similar to Deepwater Horizon. So, if you guys want my more in-depth thoughts on that, I did do a full review yesterday, so be sure to check that out if you're interested. Coming in at number 10, I have The Monkey. I think the first half of this movie was an absolute blast. I thought the kills were entertaining. Do I put this above that? Yeah, I'm keeping it there. I'm keeping it there. I was having a little hesitancy for a second, but the first half of this movie I loved. I thought it was awesome and a whole lot of fun. However, later on in the movie, it went a little too goofy for me. With the whole entire brothers when they're grown up. I don't know. It went a little too goofy. But other than that, the kills were a lot of fun, and they're Final Destination-esque, so you don't know necessarily how they're going to die, so that was pretty fun. But other than that, yeah, I liked this one. It's just I wanted the second half to be as great as the first half was. Coming in at number 9, I have Paddington in Peru. And this was my least favorite of the Paddington movies, but I still thought it was good. I still liked it. It definitely has the weakest pacing out of all three movies, and it is the What was my other issues with it? Yeah, it does. I'll just say that it does have the weakest pacing of all three movies, and this is the first Paddington movie where I felt like it was just for kids. The other two movies for me felt like they were for families. This one genuinely felt more like it was for kids. But other than that, the CGI for Paddington and the Bears are still really good. I think the main story in here is also really good with Paddington trying to find his Aunt Lucy. And yeah, overall, decent. Also another negative thing I'll say is I'm not going into spoilers here, but there was a missed opportunity to have in here where I think you could have really made some emotional moments, but they didn't end up doing that. But other than that, still liked it. I didn't love it, though. Coming in at number 8, I have In a Violent Nature. So this is a movie that I missed out on last year and watched it last night, ironically. So this was the last movie I watched for this list. Overall, thought it was pretty solid. So what the main gimmick of this movie is it's a slasher movie, but the whole entire POV is from the killer. And I mean literally the whole entire POV. You mostly follow him 90% of the time, and then the other 10% you do follow a survivor trying to escape this killer. I think the kills in here were brutally awesome. That definitely, this movie was made for $500,000, and I think you could certainly tell that they put most of their money in the kills, because a whole bunch of them were, especially for those who, for those who have seen this movie, you know what kill I'm talking about. The yoga kill. Wow. That was pretty That was pretty interesting kill, and that's probably an all-time kill as well. There's also a kill later on in the movie. I won't give it away, but there was a kill later on in the movie that I also thought was pretty well done as well, but and it was very disturbing the way that happened. So anyways, but yeah, solid. As for issues with the movie, the most of the movie is pretty much just the killer walking. Like 50% of the movie is just him walking through the woods with twigs breaking and all that. Also, the biggest thing I had with this problem with this is the ending of the movie. The ending is like so abrupt, and it doesn't give you enough clarity about what the ending of the movie is supposed to be. Which, to be fair, they might answer that in the next up-and-coming sequel, in A Violent Nature 2. However, it's just, can you at least clarify a little bit of stuff before it got in the movie? And then they didn't end up doing that, so is what it is. Also, I thought the main killer design was cool overall, but the problem with this is it did feel like a Friday the 13th ripoff. Don't get me wrong, it's better than most of the movies in the Friday the 13th franchise. However, still, it felt a little too similar with the woods vibes and the camp and stuff, and basically the story of Johnny's character and Johnny being very similar to Jason at the same time. So, all right, coming in at number 7, I have one of the biggest surprises of the year thus far, The Unbreakable Boy. I was expecting this to be at least okay, and I thoroughly enjoyed this. I thought this was good. Zachary Levi gives one of the best performances I've seen out of him in this movie, and man, yeah, he killed it. A lot of dark humor in here that I found very, very funny. The main family dynamic also as well, I thought was very, very strong in this. However, the issues with the movie, I will say, I don't know if we'll have a lot of rewatch value. And some of the CGI sequences don't look that good, but otherwise pretty solid. So if you guys were interested in checking this movie out, it's actually quite solid. I would recommend. All right, coming in at number 6, I have Hard Eyes, and this was my favorite new release of this month. And I still it's not great, but I still thought it was really, really good. I gave it a B+. There wasn't, unfortunately this month there was not a new release that I thought was great, but I thought this one was a lot of fun. I thought it was really good. The Valentine's Day themed horror kills in there I thought were a lot of fun. I liked the main killer design. The killer reveals were predictable at the end, and later on in the movie, it does feel very reminiscent of Scream with its killer reveals, how they're explaining everything. But other than that, that was my big issue with the film. I liked the balancing in tones in here, where you have half being a horror movie, and then you also have a half being rom-com, and they both balance both of those two themes very, very well. And after having watched this movie, I would be down for a second movie if they do end up making a second movie. And really good performances by the two main leads as well. So yeah. Now on to the rest of the movies that I've seen before. Now onto the rest of the movies that I have not seen before that other people have seen before. Alright, so coming in at 5th place, I have True Grit, and this is the 2010 remake. I had not seen the original film, which came out in 1969, I believe, in the late 60s, and had John Wayne in it. So I had not seen that film. In this film, I thought was great. However, as for issues with the film, it did feel slow at points. And I wish there was a little bit more Matt Damon in this movie. Because in this, he kind of disappears in the middle part of the movie, then later on the movie after he comes back, where I think he could have been a major part of the story there when he left. So, but some really good performances in here. Matt Damon do good in his supporting role. Jeff Bridges does good as the main lead role, one of the main lead roles, I should say. And also in this one, you have a very, very young Haley Steinfeld, and she, I think, gives the best performance of the whole entire movie. Especially for her age at this time frame, I thought she did really, really good. This is also directed by the Coen brothers. This was their first Western, and I think for that they did a really, really good job. I think it was written very, very, very well. Yeah, overall, thought it was great. Even though I've never seen the original film before, I thought it was great. Coming in at fourth place, I have The Breakfast Club. And yes, I'd never seen The Breakfast Club before until I watched it last month. And ironically, I watched it very close to its anniversary when it came out, which I did not plan, I swear. But yeah, I thought this was, of course, a John Hughes classic. I think all the characters are very, very well acted and gave how do I say this? It gave a lot of stereotypes to come. Yeah, how do I say it? It gave a lot of roles, like the jock, the nerd, the crackhead, the beauty queen girl, then the whole entire psycho girl. It basically created that little thing where they have a bunch of random I don't know what the term is, but you get what I'm trying to say. Anyways, but they added all those 5 kinds of stereotypes that people try to copy off of this film since then. So, Emilio Estevez, Anthony Michael Hall do really good. Some of course, very, very iconic moments in this film. As for issues, I did think the movie was maybe a little too talky, but other than that, thought it was great still. Coming in at number 3, I have It from 2017. And here's a fun little side story. So if you guys follow my Letterboxd, you would have heard this one already. So I wasn't too familiar with the horror genre when this came out. I had never seen the movie, but before this. But me and my dad went to see this movie called The Dark Tower that had Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey in it. And for the trailers, they played this. And I was going like, ooh, what is that? So, and that was kind of my introduction to horror. Because the only horror-esque movies I had seen before the trailer of this was the Alien movies. And the other glimpses of horror that I had was Freddy Krueger being in the Great Movie Ride at Disney World. So, those were the, 2 main things that kind of got me like, oh, I kind of want to check that out. I want to see what this genre is all about. So look at me now. I'm in the horror genre is my favorite movie genre out of the bunch. So this was kind of my introduction to horror, if you will. So I finally watched the movie and I thought it was great. The only issue is the movie had a little the CGI was not the best, which Andy Muschietti, man, all the movies that I've seen from him, he has pretty rough CGI, so hopefully they do better with Batman the Brave and the Bold. But anyways, with this, I thought Bill Skarsgård, and I watched this without having watched the It 1990 miniseries, I know. But Bill Skarsgård does really good as Pennywise. I think all the kid actors were really good at this at the time. And they all had a very good dynamic with each other. And batted off each other quite well. The sequences with Pennywise I thought were quite thrilling as well. So, yeah, overall I thought this was great. It's just the CGI was a little eh. Alright, now coming in at second place. Just above my first place, it is 16 Candles. So 16 Candles was a part of a 3-pack with another movie we're about to talk about in The Breakfast Club. And this one I thought this was great too. Really good performance by the main lead. Anthony Michael Hall does really good in this movie too. So yeah. Thought it was great. So yeah, even better than The Breakfast Club in my opinion. But coming in at number 1 for me, my favorite movie that I watched for the first time last month. Weird Science. So this was a part of the 3-pack as well. So the whole entire basic premise of this movie is you have Anthony Michael Hall's character and one of his friends. They end up competing. They end up making this girl with their computer. So, and which is a goofy premise, but it works because it is a comedy after all. You also have a very young Robert Downey Jr. in this movie as one of the bully characters, which that was kind of funny. I think, yeah, there was a lot of, I loved the sci-fi aspects of this movie, so, yeah, this was the only movie the last month I gave a 5 out of 5 to, so I thought it was awesome. But, anyways, that is just my list, and now let's move on to the new media that I got this month. Alright, hold on, I gotta collect a couple of these real quick. I gotta put them right beside me so I can show them to the camera. Alright, we'll start off with the non-physical media first, and we'll start off with the other things besides that. So, we'll put that right there. Alright, so for Valentine's Day, my parents gave me a Yoda keychain, which was very nice of them. Love you guys, thank you. Also, this was originally supposed to come out Christmas time. Come to me Christmas time. But it ended up getting, like, delayed out of print or something like that. So, they decided to do it, and then I got this for February as well. So, this whole entire thing of encyclopedia, as you guys can see. Which, originally, I thought this was going to be a lot bigger, but it still has a lot, it shows a whole lot of people in this. So, which is kind of shocking because how small it is, but it works, So, yeah, thank you, Mom and Daddy, yet again. This is, I got this from AMC. It's a Hard Eyes, like, Valentine's Day cards, so that's pretty cool and pretty funny, so I got 3 of these, and I gave one of them to Jackson Ace and one of them to Emma Jordan, so, yeah. Also, along with that as well, this month was Emma and Jordan's birthday, so we went shopping at the mall, and I got myself Courage the Cowardly Dog, and I wanted to look at other Funko Pops too, but Emma pressured me, so. Anyways, but I'm happy I got this, because I actually really like the Courage the Cowardly Dog show, so, yeah. Alright. Also, we have, quick story, my PS5 broke last month, and, we needed a new one, so my parents got me a new one. Thank you. You spoiled me too much, Mom and Dad. And this came along with the game, too, so, College Football 2025. So I've never played this, but yeah, I might be playing that soon. I don't know. All right, now onto the physical media that I got this month. All right, so let's go. I don't know. We'll go for the littler ones at first. All right, so as I said before, got a 3-pack Blu-ray with Weird Science, 16 Candles, and The Breakfast Club. I specifically got it for 16 Candles and Weird Science because we don't have those movies yet, but we do have The Breakfast Club, but it's on DVD, and it's on the other room, so I wanted to get this, so I got that. Along with that as well, I got the Rick and Morty complete series, seasons 1 through 4. Not the complete series, but season 1 through 4. So, I watched the first episode, so I thought to myself, you know what, why not get the whole entire series, why not get a few seasons out of the series? So I got that. Also whoopsies. Along with that, I got the Lion King 3-movie Blu-ray collection, which has the first Lion King, Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, and Lion King 1.5, which for this reason, for this, it's labeled as Lion King 3, so there's that, even though it's a mid-cool. Yeah, the first movie is a classic, and 5 out of 5, one of the best animated movies of all time, and arguably one of the best movies of all time. Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, I thought was okay. It's watchable, but it's okay. Lion King 1.5, though, I really like. It's not on the level of the original Lion King, but I think it's really, really fun, so. Alright, so, got a few new releases as well. I'll save the big one for last, but I got the Speak No Evil Blu-ray and rewatched this a few nights ago, and I still think it's great. I gave this 4 stars on Letterboxd. That was one of my favorite movies of last year. I think it made maybe like the top 15, top 20. I thought it was really, really good. As I said before, I watched this movie for the first time this month, and that was in A Violent Nature. So if you guys want my thoughts on that, go ahead and go back to the spot I talked about that. This is not a new release, but I got this. And this is the Footloose 4K Steelbook, which it's been a while since I've seen it, so I got the upgraded version so I could watch it again to get more fresh mindset. And I did really like it the first time I watched it, so. And then probably the biggest release that I got this month, the Alien Romulus 4K Steelbook. This did make my top 10 favorite movies of last year. I thought this was awesome. The only thing I had issues with is the callbacks, but other than that, I thought this was a blast. I loved the things that it took and the things that it went for in the final act of the movie. I thought Kaylee Spaney did really great. I don't know what the actor's name was, but he did phenomenal as well as the role of, what's his name? Darn it, as the artificial intelligence, he did really good. And the xenomorphs looked really cool in that one. So, yeah, Alien Romulus on 4K Steelbook right there. So, and I have that. The only movie I'm missing from the Alien collection is Alien Covenant. Well, if you want to count Alien vs. Predator, I'm only missing Alien vs. Predator, Requiem, and Alien Covenant. Alright, but with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is my overhaul and my, well, actually not my finished. I'm not finished with my overhaul yet because I was going to show you guys some posters. But that's the overhaul and that's the list done. Now let's talk about the posters and also the new pictures I have on the ceiling. Alright, so along with the Rick and Morty collection of the first 4 seasons, I got this poster. So there's that. Also with the Footloose 4K Steelbook, I got the poster of Footloose right there. What else? I also got this Captain America Brave New World poster as well, which I actually have a second one, but I left it in the car. My mom's out of town. Not out of town, but she's going to a meeting right now, so, but yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I drew the Dolly Parton's Christmas movie, whatever, on there. I don't know why I drew it. I just drew it. Also, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I completely forgot 2 other categories as well. So these are more physical media, but ones that I got from the family cabinet, and then these are ones that I don't own yet, but are in the family cabinet that my dad bought. So we'll start off with these 2. So these 2 I don't own yet, but these are the 2 Vincent Price Blu-ray collection movies. This one right here has The Pit in the Pendulum, The Mask of the Red Death, The Haunted Palace, The Fall of the House of Usher, The Abominable Dr. Phoebes, and Witchfinder General, aka The Conqueror Worm. Out of the movies in here, I've only seen the 3 of them, which are The Pit in the Pendulum, The Mask of Red Death, and The Abominable Dr. Phoebes, which I think out of the 3, The Pit in the Pendulum was probably my favorite. But still, it is not my favorite Vincent Price movie. I have another one that I love a lot more. That actually I don't think is in these collections. It might be in the other 2 because this is Vincent Price collection. Hold on, let me see. What? Oh, so this is wait. Oh, I thought they were, like, numbered. I thought this was, like, volume 4, this was volume 3. And then this other one has Master of the World, An Evening of Edgar Allan Poe, Cry of the Banshee, Tower of London, and Diary of a Madman, which I have not seen any of these. So, But yes. And then these are movies that I got from the family cabinet. I have Ice Age Continental Drift. There's one more Ice Age movie that I do not have a part of the 4 movies yet, which is Ice Age Collision Course. I think that's what it's called. The most forgettable out of the movies. I'll say that. Also, I got the Beauty and the Beast live action movie to go with the animated one, which that's one of the better Disney live action remakes, but I still prefer the original movie by a wide margin, though. Book of Esther. Just saw, I went, oh, another Blu-ray. I'll add that to the collection. Sweet Home Alabama. Never seen it, so I can't comment on it. Armageddon. Of course, classic, with Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck and Liv Tyler. Star-studded cast in here. Very cheesy B-movie, but it's fun. And then a Charlie Brown Christmas Blu-ray, too. So, yeah. Anyways, I had to add those in because I forgot that I had those as categories, too. Being said, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this February 2025 monthly check. Be sure to stay tuned in for next month for my March 2025 monthly check. And with that being said, guys, I'll see y'all next one, everybody. Peace.